We got on the agenda today Usyk, how low is too low? Crawford, uh, and Spence, I'm sorry, Spence reactivated or activated his rematch clause. And now Crawford's telling other people to get in line that he ain't going to fight him. The Stevenson fight with Martin's off. All of this and much more coming right up on Tough Talk Tuesday.
This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing.
Welcome to another episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Biggers. Alongside me, Robert Alexander. How's it going, Rob?
Man, you made me feel like one of them ESPN analysts or something like that with that new intro thing that you just ran.
You like that?
All right, I like that.
I'm ironing it out. It'll get better. But yeah, let's keep that rolling. All right, let's jump right into it. We missed a couple weeks, right? So we still got to touch on some things that we haven't talked on that were hot topics, and I think it's still somewhat of a hot topic. And of course, I'm talking about Usyk and how low is too low. One off top. I'm not talking about rewatching clips or anything. Did you think it was low immediately, or did you think it was good?
So here, the issue with my opinion in this whole thing, to be honest with you, I look towards the referee. I always do, because it's their call and it's so hard to tell because, number one, they're giving instructions outside of the ring, right? Before you even fight, they're giving instructions. And then when you step into the ring, you're giving instructions, and then the referee points it out to the crowd, to us, to everybody, just where he's going to call it. I missed the introduction, so I didn't see what he said about the belt line or anything like that.
Good point. And you know what? I went back because immediately after the fight, I rewound that shit, right? And it was never stated. Never stated. Yeah. So he never said, here's good, here's good. I don't know if that was done in the locker room or what have you, but that was never stated before the fight.
Yeah. And there's a few things you can look for. The problem in this instance is like the stuff that you look for towards it being a low blow versus it not being a low blow. Like, I feel like all of those things both happen, right? Like, I feel like the cut, the way that you looked at it, like the trousers rised up, so I'm like, that's a low blow because of the way that the trousers went up. But then they're like, they're just trying to say that's reaction. It really wasn't as low as it looked.
Yeah, I was with you at first, but also when I rewound it, I thought because you could see his navel in the beginning, you know what I mean? Well, sometimes you have that pad covering it or your trunks covering it, what have you. But since he could clearly see that, I was thinking maybe he was like, that you know what's legal, what's not, just off that. I don't know. But yeah, regardless, he was hit low twice before. I think if it didn't happen, if those two shots didn't happen, I don't even think that would have got called low. I do think it was low. My initial reaction is low. I still think it's low. Do I think it's a ball shot? No. But those two things don't always go hand in hand.
Well, again, my issue with it is that I don't ever in a fight myself judge low blows. I usually always look to the referee. And the reason being is because of what that instruction is at the beginning of the fight. Because he is supposed to show you where he's going to call it low versus where he's not going to call it low. So that's my only issue is that him not stating it or nothing like that. We don't know what he said in the dressing room. We don't know what he told him where he was going to consider being low or not. So that's my only thing. So I'm looking at the referee like, You know what you told him. You know where you said you was gonna call it. I look to the referee to call it the right way.
I mean, that's fair. Sakura, though, the ref was a little weird in this one. I know we're rehashing some old stuff, but I figure we might as well catch up with boxing. We've missed a week or so, so we're talking about a little bit some old stuff, but it's still impacting, especially with it being Usyk and heavyweight titles were on the line. But as he was talking about with the ref, and he was looking to the ref was a little awkward on this one, right? Because you had Usyk saying, "I am ready," and the ref is like, "No, take your time. Take your time." When a fighter tells you he's ready, 9 out of 10 times you're getting back in there immediately. There is no, "Oh, take more time. I think you need it." Like, what was that about? And are you still thinking it's slow? I know we had talks outside offline, and you were definitely thinking that it was a legal blow last time we spoke.
Yeah, I think it was a fair punch. The thing of it is, the referee was from Puerto Rico. He's normally used to following ABC guidelines, you know, here in the States. Um, so there should have been a measure to say, hey, this shot is low. This would be, considered safe in the beginning. However, that doesn't mean that just because he didn't do it. I've seen plenty of fights where where refs don't do it. Um, it's pretty evident that when you're hitting someone low, it could be sometimes the cup does move, then sometimes it doesn't. But the main thing is, did you hurt your manhood or not? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you really hurt? I mean, to me, you can clearly see that Usyk was hurting. I'm just not sure it was from his manhood getting hit. I think it was pretty safe to say that he had caught a blow that caused him to lose his breath. That caused him to be gasping for air, and which is a little different pain than what you would be getting apparently from getting your cojones hit or pulled or whatever. So yeah, the ref did act as though he was probably happy to be on an international stage in Poland. And he clearly knew who the Polish people. By the way, there's a lot of Ukrainians that are in Poland now due to the war. So, I mean, he knew who his audience was. He knew where his bread was getting buttered, and I think that caused that decision to be like, hey, take your time here. But you have to be careful. I see you posted one of the photos, and they've got the line drawn and things like
Well,
that.
obviously, it's just something from the net. I don't know where
Yeah,
this
that's
even
the
came
thing
from.
is I saw a lot of different, pictures and that were being posted afterwards, and it was just like, well, this wasn't even you know, this particular punch and things like that. So I thought it was better if you wanted to assess it to be watching during the actual video,
Oh,
just
for
watching the
sure.
video. But now here's where the confusion comes in afterwards. That fight is over, the decision has been made. That's what it is. It is what it is. But for the future, I was talking to a lot of boxing industry people, um and everybody was like saying different things. Oh, it's good. Oh, it's bad. Oh, it's good. Some saying anything below the belt. Some saying ABC changed their rules, like during the pandemic or sometime to allow it to be lower. So I would like some clarity on it. I haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah, me and you both. I know we talked about it, in our group chat, but we have not gotten any clarity. I hear, like you said, both things. It should be a little bit lower. It's not necessarily the navel is where it starts to cut off at. So I think this punch itself landed somewhere in a gray area. But unless you're there, you don't know really even where the point of impact begins. You know what I mean? Unless you're the one getting hit in the nuts or doing the one hitting, you don't know where that began. Even though the ref is making his best guesstimation.
Assessment. But a lot of times what I see is that these refs, when there's a controversy of that sort, it's because the ref isn't able to be in the best position during that actual exchange. And in this particular case, I think he was going off of the emotion and the looks, the expression that Usyk was displaying. And any man, you know, they know that feeling, or they know close to what that feeling is. So you kind of like you get a little sensitive there, and you're like, okay, whew, that had to hurt. You know what I'm saying? You just make that quick assessment as a man, like, yeah, that had to hurt.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
you don't really know for sure by just seeing someone's expression, because there've been a lot of people. As a matter of fact, they had a video of Usyk in a previous fight that he had, and it showed how he had faked. I don't want to say fake, but how he had turned on the acting skills for what was supposed to be a low blow, and then they showed the replay and it was totally not. That's always funny to see, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm with you there. It's again hard to say. Let's play a little game though of what if, right? Rob Sakura, let's say it gets ruled a knockdown. Does he make it to his feet? Does he finish the fight?
I can't say. It's hard to say. It really is hard to say. Um, Being that the immediate action was taken and he was allowed time to recover and even more time. So, like you said, he even stated he was ready before the ref asked him to take more time. So it really is hard to say because it's not like it was a body blow, but it's not like one of them kidney shots where you're just dead for 10 seconds or longer. You know what I'm saying? So it is hard to say. Now, if it knocked the wind out of him, he certainly might not have gotten back up, but he wouldn't have been hurt to the point where, people felt like he completely lost the fight. He probably would have got up in probably 11, and then immediate rematch would have happened right afterwards. So, I mean, it's hard to say whether he would have beat a 10 count or not if it would have been allowed, but it definitely, Du Bois has a beef in that particular instance because outside of that punch, he didn't do much else.
No, and he ended up getting knocked out himself, but that's neither here nor there. Sakura, do you think it would have changed the course of the fight if it was legal blow? Think we could have had a new champion?
I mean, it's really neither here nor there. Basically, I feel like Usyk might not have been able to get up in that time, that 10 count, if it was really a 10 count that started immediately. And he didn't look at his team until he actually had kind of meandered over into the corner and repositioned himself for them to say, hey, just stay down. So it was a little time in between the actual blow and that happening. Now, was Dubois looking the best he could have looked before that? No, obviously not. But that's why it's boxing, because it only takes one good punch to change the in total trajectory of the outcome of a fight. That's what excites all of us fans, and that's why, like, that's why I say it's neither here nor there, whether or not he would have made it or not. Like the main thing is that whether Dubois was looking good previously or not, it would have been the end of that fight. He would have been able to get his hands on a almost complete, undisputed, definitely a unified 3-belt situation. And them type of opportunities don't come by every day. I mean,
No, they
unless
don't.
you're Shakur right now. I mean, he's getting more opponents, and every other week he got a different opponent, but he's getting this same, title shot. I would just say that Dubois does have a case for a rematch. Will he get that rematch? I don't know. People are like stammering to be like, let me go watch this fight. Let me see this rematch.
And that was going to be my next question. Do you guys
Yeah.
even really want that? Even if you feel he was wronged, and he was robbed of that knockdown, can we say that we really want to see a rematch of this fight?
Right. I mean, round by round, absolutely not. I'm going to put it out there. Absolutely not. Round by round, no.
Yeah. Yeah, me either. Hopefully we see Usyk in the meaningful fight we're all talking about in Saudi Arabia. Not that I want it necessarily to be in Saudi Arabia. I just like that fight combination could happen. Of course, we're talking about the dream card between Usyk and Fury, and then Wilder and AJ. That's something that's I think I would surely pay for. So, and that's saying a lot if you don't watch the show. But yeah, let's change topics now. Let's talk Crawford. Crawford's now on top, telling others he is not going to fight them. And of course, we're talking specifically Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman. What do you guys think of it? I think it's hilarious because he was trying so hard to get these fights. Now he's getting people wanting to fight him. It's just vindication, right? I mean, it's basically just saying, get to the back of the line.
I mean, it's when you get your redemption and you get to be like when you're a kid and you got that nice candy and people want it and you're like, nah, 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 nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got this candy, you ain't got shit. I don't gotta play with you. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that you used to do. Or like, my doll is better than your doll. I'm just saying, I don't blame him for feeling that way. And like he say, he's the big fish now. He done heard every reason why certain fights couldn't be made for him in matchups in his past. So now it's like, well, now I don't want to hear y'all name because I got my own plans, just like you guys had your own plans. So it's a situation where he's able to do that now because he is an undisputed big fish of the welterweight division, moving up to 154 probably, which means it's a benefit in that for him, in that he doesn't have to drain as much weight either. And he also mentioned Boots as well. That's another name that he was like, I don't see that happening right now. So it's a situation where he's getting his pay. He's like, I'm getting my payback. This is what it is. Y'all told me no for so long. And so therefore.com, you can kiss my boxing gloves.
Oh man, it is funny because I mean, Danny's like, I want to fight you anyway.
He like, I got my money. I'm like, but sometimes it ain't about money. Like when you have so much money and you still want to fight, then that tells me like that you love some more things about it than just the money. Like you like the crowds, you like the attention, you like being under the big lights. You like actual boxing and winning. You want to have a legacy. Those things come into play too. Not as much as it used to be, of course. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, there's people that fight for other reasons besides just the coins.
Yeah, I think Danny's more on his way out. I don't think he's worried about much except the coins at this current point in time. Now, from what my understanding is, guys, it sounds like Crawford gets to choose whether it's at welterweight or at 154 junior middleweight. Rob, do you see him going with welterweight again, or is it too hard for them to make? They want to go ahead and just might as well jump up.
I like Crawford to stay at the weight he's going to stay at if he wants to take on the other contenders. Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman are no longer top 10 in any of these divisions. He's right to say he won't fight them.
Yeah, I really don't think there's a bunch of people calling for that either, but maybe that's
the third name I'm gonna say for a minute. But if he wants to stay in the division, Spence obviously is not gonna be there. But some of these other names, I don't mind. Virgil Ortiz, given his health is okay. Stanios, Cody Crowley, David Adesanya, which he already beat. Mario Barrios, Alexis Rocha, Roman Villa. You know, some of those guys, I don't mind him taking on. Stanios, Cody Crowley, if he wanted to stay in the division. The other route that he could go, though, of course, is he could move up. And if he moves up, even those guys in the top 10, I wouldn't mind. I believe Tony Harrison is retired, but I still wouldn't mind seeing that as being kind of a heavy tune-up type of fight. Erickson Lubin, even Fondora, even though he just lost. Brian Mendoza, who beat Fondora, and of course, Tim Tszyu, aside from Charlo. So those names, if he moved up, I wouldn't mind seeing him fight either, aside from Spence. The issue, though, that I have with the rematch, whether it be at 154 or not, you know, whether it be the step above or at the same weight, Spence has something to prove first. So the immediate rematch, I would not have expected to see. Yeah, he might have put that clause, but how many times have we seen the clause exercised and there still be a tune-up in between? So I would at least like to see Spence and Crawford both take a bout at 154 if that's the weight class that they're going to fight. I think that indeed is the weight class that they should fight at if they have the rematch. And I think they both should take one of those top 10 names off that list and fight before they fight each other.
Well, that ain't much of a tune-up. If you fight one in the top 10, you fighting somebody. Can't call that one a tune-up, but I would agree with you. I would like to see that too. Whether that happens or not, I'm a little skeptical myself.
I just say 154. 154. There is no tune-ups. Everybody is talented, and everybody fights each other. So it's none of this layoff for long periods and things like that. Like that division is one of the main, most active divisions as far as exchanging the titles too.
Mm-hmm.
And then also
it's been that way for a decade.
Right. Yeah. Like, but to say, I would rather see, somebody like Bud go up for greatness again and try for those belts at a different division again, than to see him stay at 147 and deal with an entirely new generation of talent. Everybody that Rob mentioned, besides Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman, are individuals that to me are just not in the same. There's like this big gap in the talent. Where it's a big difference in where people are at in their careers. To me, like Barrios, he's only had 2 fights at welterweight. Crawley, he's a great up and coming contender now, but is he ready for? I know the outcome of that one as well. Like he didn't grow up and was 6 and 7 years old boxing. So it's things like that just make it seem like, what does he have to prove at that welterweight division after beating what was supposed to be the big fish of that division? it seems like it's more of a challenge, and it's more competition, higher level competition for him at 154. Experienced boxers.
I'm kind of somewhere in between.
Here's why. Let me tell you why,
Go ahead.
Lucas. You know why you're in between? I'm now an advocate of this right here because this is what we're seeing right now. Crawford moves up to 154 to fight Charlo. Why? Because that's the biggest name in that division. Meaning these guys move up and down only for the biggest name. But we're not getting the biggest fight outcome.
For sure.
Why? Because we're getting one-sided fights. Because these guys should be fighting at a level playing field in the right division at the right time in their careers. We're not getting a level playing field. So I want to see you stay in a division and fight the top 10 fighters, all of them. Stop moving up. That's why I'm saying, Lucas, you're probably in between. Stop moving up to take Charlo, who's already moving up 2 divisions to fight a Canelo. Why? Because we don't know what's going to be left of that Charlo after the Canelo fight.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. It's pretty well said. But I also feel like we've seen this story before. We've seen Crawford clean up 140, somewhat unimpressed. Like, he didn't beat the biggest names. Yeah, he looked good doing it, but he didn't beat the biggest names. Didn't prove a lot doing it, right? He didn't stay and defend anything at 140. Booked it up, right? He got these, and he has a couple of solid, decent names on there. But, again, moved it up. I want to see him stay and actually defend. Somebody needs to defend the undisputed titles. Nobody does that. They get them, and then they're on to the next. Undisputed don't matter for shit to me unless you can keep it. I would love to see him do it. And I agree with Sakura, though, because, like she said, there's not a lot of competition out there that can even give him a fight. I see maybe 2 names, maybe a Virgil Ortiz and Boots. And even then, yes, it's kind of a jump as far as competition goes for them. It's a rather large jump, but then again, I mean, his Crawford's fight, the 2 names, who would you say is his toughest fights? Right? I'm thinking Spence, and obviously you're thinking like maybe a Sean Porter. I don't really know who else I would go with there.
I mean, I'd have to go with Sean Porter over. I wouldn't even put Spence in that category. After,
yeah, because
I mean, the on paper it was supposed to be so competitive, and we saw a shutout. You know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't competitive.
Yeah, so it's more just like that fight just didn't go the way we expected it to, and sometimes you'll have that. I think it's just Spence played into Crawford's hands, and it wasn't really a good fight for him. And I'm not saying that Crawford's the top guy now just because he beat a Spence. I think there's still competition out there that I would like to see him face. So I see a couple of fights for him still at 147. I would prefer him to finish that up, make that statement, and then go up to 154. But I don't think it's going to happen now. I mean, he's got too much else on his plate. Let's see. Mark says there's nothing for Bud at 147. Zoo and Charlo are better than anyone at 147. Now, Mark,
I like to answer.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I like to answer that with the statement I believe that you're trying to make, Lucas. These guys now are saying that they're the man because they beat the man, but nobody else. Meaning they're not cleaning out the division. Just because Crawford beat Spence at a high level so bad does not mean he can beat Zoo. Does not mean he can beat the other top 10 fighters. Why? Because if you pile them on top of another and they all fight Crawford, that's what? Pressure. Right? That's pressure. That's what I want to see him go through. Because what I'm tired of seeing is He goes up to fight Charlo. Win or lose, what are they going to say? Charlo's too big. He's too big, right? Whether he wins that fight or loses that fight, he still wins because Charlo's too big. So you should have stayed down in the division and cleaned it out in the first place, is what they're trying to tell you. Or
go ahead.
Yeah, no.
I'm just gonna say I'm looking at those names, Zoo and Charlo, and I'm like, who's to say that Boots is not superior competition than both of those guys?
Right. And the litmus test that everybody keeps putting up now is the name. I'm tired of playing the name game. The real litmus test should be the pressure of the caliber of opponents that you stack up and fight over time. Where is that at in the sport nowadays? I want to see you fight Zoo. I want to see you fight Charlo. I want to see you fight Boots. I want to see you fight all three and then base my opinion on whether I think Bud is great.
It's too early for me, right? I feel like with Crawford, especially right now, he still has a road in front of him, right? He's just coming at speed, and there's still a lot of road in front of him. I want to see more before I start crowning him. Obviously, he's a great talent. But the Spence fight, as Sakura said, he kind of dog walked him. I mean, it wasn't very competitive. Definitely don't want to see a rematch, but it's going to be shoved down our throats because of the contract. So they can fight at 154, and then maybe he can move back down to 147. I don't know. We'll see if Bud's able to do it still. Some people were saying he looked a little drained, maybe a little bit harder to make 147 now going forward, but
that's my point, Lucas. Make it harder for him. You see what I'm saying? Make it harder for him. Build that pressure. Prove something to me other than fighting and beating the name. Prove something to me. Beat these young fighters. Go down to the 147 and defend all of the belts against all of the hungrier fighters. Then you could say I beat everybody.
I mean, yeah, you got something going there. I mean, if next year he takes on Stanionis, Ortiz, and Boots and ends the year with Boots, I mean, that's a hell of a year. That's fight of the year candidate, and I don't see what anybody else would have anything to gripe about. And then he still has time to go up to 154.
I just want to say something about this undisputed status. We have that at, currently right now, there are 18 4-belt era champions. That's including women. So there's 9 undisputed champions for men and 9 exactly for women. So this is a trend we are seeing. Now, does that mean that you're the best at your division? Or did you just fight that particular person that had most of the belts or all the belts for the championship? Let's take Devin Haney, for example. He fought Kambosos for all 4 belts. Now, if you think about it, did he fight who considered to be the best at 135 pounds? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he really does that undisputed status, does that really mean that he's the best in that division?
Nope.
So, and not just to point out Haney, there's other examples of this where,
Crawford himself, right? I mean,
he wasn't able
for no
to
names,
fight.
Right?
Long story short, Shakira, you only have to beat one man now to be undisputed.
Okay, but okay, you only have
I agree with
that.
You,
yeah. But I'm just saying, like, when we're saying this, it's an element that comes into it where this money comes into play. And it's like now that Bud knows that he's the top dog, nobody's disputing it. They saw what happened against a very amazing, talented fighter. So there's nobody disputing that he's the best at welterweight right now. And the closest they can come to, they can only come to a name. No, I'm saying the only name they can even think about right now is oh well, Boots might give him a good fight. And they saying might because they really don't know. We don't know his skill level if it's totally matched with Bud Crawford's. You know, it's easy for Boots to look amazing against some of these lesser opponents he's been having to fight. And that's another situation where he's going through what Bud went through, where he can't secure bigger fights. It doesn't mean he's not an amazing fighter, though.
I agree with you.
The numbers are not showing financially that it's going to be beneficial for Bud to even try to take that risk, or just, I don't even think it's a risk, honestly, but for him to try to take the time out and possibly get injured or whatever might happen, then rather than to move up to 154 and face another, and face some game opponents up there with a higher reward.
I mean,
and that's just for him, but it's also for other divisions where there's other matchups that we'd like to see at some of these divisions, but the money just don't make sense for them to try to match these fights up. And when I say they, I'm talking about the promoters and the TV and the apps and whatever else, the managers. Like, they trying to make these numbers work. That's a big problem with Shakur right now. People know that he's, pretty damn amazing at 135 pounds. But yet his money ain't to pay-per-view level yet. You know what I'm saying? If you fight him. So all these boxers are going to want XYZ amount of money, but they can get more money if they decide to wait it out and go for a tank fight.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same with Bud. Right. I mean, Bud's top, but he's really not pay-per-view. He's shown that he can't really sustain a pay-per-view, at least not alone. He has to have another big name.
Now, if that changed since he was able to gain so many more followers and so many more fans, since that Spence fight, and there's no doubters anymore as to his abilities. But
you're still gonna
the thing I'm bringing up, the overall thing I'm trying to say, and not focus so much on Bud's fight or lightweight divisions or whatever, is just that these calculations are making us as fans miss out on what could be some great matchups. That's my overall feeling.
For sure, I definitely agree there.
Will. Let me do one better and put some controversy on it in terms of what Lucas did to my boy Floyd. In Floyd's era, it was the don't fight nobody or fight who you think you can beat era. Okay. So where Crawford is tanking things at now is the undisputed era, where you only have to beat one man to win all 4 belts. That when you talk about undisputed, you talking about, like, I try to explain it to people all the time, and they really think that I'm talking about so-and-so is the man because they predominantly beat the 4 best fighters. No, that's not what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You only beat one man in the Crawford era to become undisputed. And then you drop those titles.
Technically two, because he had a WBO belt before. So he took that from Horn. And then
we don't even know the guy's name.
Horn. He took that from Horn, and then he still and then he fought Spence for the other 3 belts. But so technically you're fighting 1, like you saying, or 2, and you got 4 belts. You know what I'm saying? That's what's happening now.
That's what he did at 140, right? He fought one man and won the undisputed title. Then he pretty much
no, that's not what happened.
At 140, he fought the one guy. I can't even pronounce his name.
Lucas, at 140, he did collect the belts, but
or
it was
45. Was it 140?
I mean, you probably can't name. You can't name any of those.
But he had to fight multiple fights to gain put all 4 belts together, basically.
No, I think he beat one man. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he beat
at
one man.
No,
140 he did collect them like Thanos.
No, because he had Gamboa, that was for a title, and I don't know who else. And then the last guy came over from England, Dongo or something.
Mark's saying he fought 3 champs at 140.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's in that particular situation with Bud. But there's other situations too where these belts are getting
There
exchanged,
we go.
like,
Julius and Dongo.
Yeah, he
yeah.
fought Indongo. Yeah.
Yeah, Hudongo, that was for the last belt, but he already had some belts before he came into that. He was a unified champion. Then he fought him to become undisputed. But that's neither here nor there. The point is like we're missing out on some fights. Once they get these undisputed statuses, then it's like they are completely in control of if they want to take time out to fight someone that may be a great matchup but doesn't have much benefit financially or with a belt to make them want to fight them. Is that's basically where I'm coming from, if y'all can understand what I'm saying.
I agree. For me, undisputed needs to be. I don't care how you get it. You can get it by fighting one goddamn person. You get it by beating all of them one by one, like Thanos collecting rings. I don't care how you get it, but if you can maintain it, you can show that you are actually undisputed. So right now, undisputed is just a word. He is technically disputed because we think, right, Virgil Ortiz has a shot. We think he has a legit chance of upsetting the champ. So therefore, he is disputed. He needs to go in there and prove to us that he can beat this motherfucker. And anybody else that we think he has that has a shot at 140, right? For me, I think all he really needs to do is beat Boots. I would like a Virgil Ortiz, but if he just says I'm gonna take out Boots, I'd be like, all right, you do that. I'll consider you undisputed right now.
I mean, I want to if he were to stay at welterweight, hypothetically, which I don't really see happening. By the way, he wants one more money if he goes to 154 for Spence's fight. But if he does stay at 147, I'm more interested in seeing like, well, yeah, what does he look like against a Thurman who was a undisputed? I mean, was a unified champion. What does he look like against? Well, we can't say Porter because he did at least fight Porter. Who else is it that was top 5 when he was trying so desperately to get these fights or these matchups with top fivers? You know, Danny Garcia, he's gone. He's at 154, possibly 160 if this Lara fight goes through. So, you know, that puts him out of the category. You got Ugas. Ugas had Ugas, he got the WBO belt, I believe it was, from Pacquiao. Or no, I'm sorry. He got the WBA belt from Pacquiao. So he's another one that was a champion during Bud's time as a welterweight that they did not face each other. So like I'm more interested in seeing him mix it up with people that are still like in the same generation that he was trying to get these fights. If he were to stay at welterweight, I don't see it happening. But I mean, I'm not interested in seeing him fight, 22 and 23-year-olds that's just coming up the rankings and really, we already know the outcomes of these fights. Like I don't need to see that.
Exactly. A couple of them I agree with. They would already be like, I already know who's winning that. That's why I said I'm good with Virgil Ortiz, Boots. I'll consider him. I'll crown him undisputed. But you really do have to stay there. You can't just climb the mountain and be like, I'm done. No, motherfuckers are trying to knock you off too. You just getting those belts does not make you undisputed. Crawford himself is disputed if you just look at his resume. I mean, it's really not the best resume. If we're talking that at 147, he still has names that he can beat. I also don't want to just see him go up to 154 and take Canelo's leftovers. I don't want to see that. That's not entertaining for me. I don't want to watch him beat up Charlo if Canelo just got done beating up Charlo. I don't care. You know what I mean? At that point, it's over for me. That's a boring fight. I want to see that.
I mean, we have yet to really know whether. I mean, let's face it. If
I'm saying
Charlo, if Charlo were to win this fight against Canelo, you really think that he's gonna be like, "Let me go back down," or you think he's gonna be like, "I'm king of the motherfucking hill, and I'm gonna take out some more of these people while I'm up here"?
Oh, like, hell no, he's going back down. You think he's gonna stay up there?
If he would have win? I said, you really think if he wins a fight with Canelo that he's not gonna try to get some more people and some more money at that particular weight?
No, because I think Canelo is practically too small for this weight division, and Charlo. No, there's some heavy hitters up there. I don't know. And Caleb Plant's already going around smacking some Charlos. He don't want to. He don't want to be another one. I don't know.
I honestly feel like he has the confidence in himself right now before the fight, to the point where it's not guaranteed. I'm just saying it's not guaranteed that he would necessarily come right back down to 154 to defend anything, especially if they're saying as soon as he steps in the ring, he's going to lose the WBO belt, apparently, and Tim Tszyu will, be able to fight for it. That's what they're saying right now, that he would, have to give up that belt as soon as he fights. So, I mean, that means that there's an opportunity there for Crawford to go against, for Crawford to go against Tszyu for that particular belt. Because that WBO is what he had at welterweight. He's very familiar and likes that sanctioning body. So you know how they do.
And I think there's a lot of people like Mark who want to see quite badly Bud versus Tszyu. So it's time to move on. Let's talk a little bit about Stevenson and Martin fight being off. I'm so confused. So did he want half? Did he not want half? All of a sudden he doesn't want the fight. What is going on with Martin? What's going on here?
I was gonna ask y'all the same question because I don't know what the hell happened, and they honestly ain't even give us no excuse other than to say the fight's canceled.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought that Dan Rayfield wrote a great article on it. He got interviews with, some of the main players at Top Rank. And what really shocked me is that the representative from Top Rank was saying, "Oh no, this was not PBC, by the way. This was not anything to do with them. This was Martin that did not want the fight." So, I mean, when you hear that from Top Rank, they love bashing the other promotional companies.
Yeah, I mean,
for him to say that, I was like, oh, really? Like, for real? But I don't mind Martin being like, hey, this fight ain't right for me. I have a problem with him waiting until all the negotiations have been done and they've already had to secure that WBC belt, with negotiating with the WBC to get them to have Haney considered a champion in recess. Like, all of that had to happen. Venues, there was the purse bid, there was the contract negotiation points. All of this stuff is decided. They send the team a final contract to be signed, and they have to get back on the phone at that point and say, hey, the kid don't want to fight. I'm like, what? Like, that's what would piss me off, because
that's crazy.
I don't think people understand, like, just even on a local card, like, trying to get matchups secured and fights finalized and contracts that everybody agreed to is not an easy thing. Like, that's hours and hours, billable hours that went into this from everybody's team. Like, so it just seems like, man, that wasn't, it's not a good look, is it? It doesn't look good.
No.
Which is why I have a problem with it. You're absolutely right, Shakura. Your team is your team. Fighters do what? They fight. This particular fighter won't fight. So that's where I have a problem with Martin.
It does sound like he realizes that this is his chance to actually make any kind of money in boxing, and that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to milk this for all it was worth. And now they were like, no, we ain't going up that far. So he was like, I ain't fighting you because I'm going to lose.
But that's the way it sounds. I was further disgusted when they had a video of him talking cash cold smack of wanting more money and turning down the Haney fight because of the money. He was specifically out of his mouth saying things like, Oh, I would have fought for that. I mean, let me get that opportunity to fight for a championship, because when I get you might get less money, but if you get the championship, you're gonna make way more money. Like, let me get this opportunity. And then, well, hello, guess what? They got you on videotape saying this. So now that you're supposedly wanting more money, you look like you're being, how do you say it? What's the word that I'm looking for? Hypocritical.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you said that Shakur should have took the lesser purse. Now, when it was your turn to go through with it, now you're saying otherwise. But either way, you allowed your team to go ahead and go through with an entire contract negotiation, thinking the money was okay. So now in the back of our heads, we're like all wondering, like, is this really about that? Like, is it really about that purse? You said it wasn't on video earlier. Like, so I don't know. I'm it just doesn't look good for on Martin's behalf to allow it to go this far.
Well, Mark doesn't believe here. He says, I think he might have gotten a better offer. Tank is a rumor, but he could be lined up for Cambosa's vacant IBF title. Apparently, Loma is taking some time off.
Right. I would have believed that one, Mark, but there's no articles written about that particular subject on the Tank possibly offering him that. And why would Al Heyman, who is the manager for he is the manager for Javante Tank Davis as well. Why would he go through with an entire negotiations with Top Round for this other fight that he would have known exclusively about details on? I'm not buying that one. That rumor is just that. So I think it's just a rumor.
Well, my take on it to Mr. Martin is this: when you start negotiating and talking about it being worth the money, then obviously you're only fighting for the money. You're not gonna win anyway. You don't. You're not fighting for the true fact that you believe you can win the fight. You're only fighting for the money, and that right there, to me, is a bad look.
Right. I mean, it's a bad look. And but also too, guys, think about it. That is not opportunity for that title. He was not in line to get.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get to Martin, you have to go through 3 more opponents. And if you include Haney, he would be the 4th, because first it was Haney versus Shakur. Then it went to Isaac Cruz. Then that didn't happen. Then it went to, well, what about Lomo? Then Lomo's like, I had a really tough fight. If let me get my mind right. I'm done for the year. Then you got, which he's earned that right. Then you get to Martin. So this is an opportunity that's not necessarily going to come around quickly again for him. But if you think you need more time to hone in on your skills and you don't think you're ready for a Shakur fight, that's one thing. I can respect that. But if you're doing this and you're saying it's for money, and you had already previously said it wasn't for money, it's not about money, now you're looking like, a hypocrite.
For sure. And I mean, nobody really wants to do business with you. Is that much harder for you to get a decent fight and a big fight after these type of situations? So even if you take the lesser money,
thing, Lucas. Yeah, you're right.
Even if you just took the lesser money and you went through what you said you were going to go through, even if you got the shit kicked out of you, I think another offer would have came. It's just, you can't do this with these games. There's too much people losing money, and these promoters don't play that shit. So it's different time now. Let's switch now to Prograis and Haney being set for December 9th. Got to be happy with this one. That's close to a super fight. I don't know if I call it a super fight, but it's a big fight. It is a big fight. Are we surprised, one, that it got made?
Yeah.
No, Prograis ain't no damn body.
No, I'm not surprised about this one, but that date was actually one of the dates that they were thinking about having the Secure fight. So now that fight is good for Prograde versus Haney. So that's one of the reasons you get a December 9th fight. I'm liking this fight a lot. I think it'll show us exactly where Haney is and if he can really compete with 140-pound divisioners. I don't think that he necessarily can compete. Not skill-wise. Skill-wise is fine. He's there all day. I think it's more of a power and and a chin situation. Yeah. Like are you able to sustain the blows that heavier pound boxers are going to be giving you if you were having problems at the lesser weight? You know what I'm saying? Like that's a question that I think a fight like this will answer, because Prograde does have decent power. Not also, this is a WBC title fight because Prograde is the is that champion. So this is actually a great fight for Haney. Now, would I have rather seen Haney versus Shakur? Absolutely. So, but I don't think Haney will. I know he's a champion in recess, but I don't see Haney. You're gonna put on this weight, and you were already struggling to make 135. You think it's gonna be easy for him after this fight to go back down in weight when you were already struggling with the weight?
Nope. Yeah, I don't see it.
Like I said, Prograde ain't no damn body to me. He ain't
Whatever.
he ain't no damn body. Look like trash in his last fight. Let's be honest. He looked like trash in that last fight. Haney last fought Lomachenko. It was a hell of a fight. It really was. With a hell of a fighter in Lomachenko. Prograde ain't fight nobody. And I don't care.
You're gonna try to so you're gonna compare Lomachenko's power with a Prograde's power?
And I don't count Josh Taylor either. Okay.
I'm just okay. So you don't count Josh Taylor, who was also an undisputed champion.
Because Josh Taylor
but it's okay.
wiped out.
I like that's your opinion. You're definitely able to keep that opinion. I just really feel like for Prograde, that last fight was a home fight. That's always a distraction for boxers. And number two, he was fighting a pretty awkward boxer, and you're not going to always look good against everyone. But do you think for 1 minute that they chose that opponent for his home fight, that he's going to be in the same mindset and the same physical shape, I'm sorry, for a Haney fight, which is a way bigger name?
Prograde is trash. Okay.
You ain't want to answer that one, huh? Lucas,
not done.
I hear you.
Not only did he look like trash on that last fight, but the man was fighting on fucking Jake Paul undercards, and he looked like trash there. Prograde is trash, man. I don't care what y'all say.
No Jake Paul undercard.
He was on one of them undercards.
I think he was, yeah.
Maybe a couple.
No, it wasn't.
Let's switch topics real quick. I want to go to the women here because I really like this announcement. Serrano Ramos women's title being set for 12 3-minute rounds. Finally, the women get to put in just as much men as the work in there. How are you loving this, guys? Because, we've been asking for it. We're finally getting it.
I mean, right now, I'm just in shock that if they were able to get approved, not just the 3-minute rounds, but also the 12-rounder for a championship fight. So I'm pretty excited about that. I also just felt like if we do have a situation where Amanda Serrano fights and actually gets a stoppage, it doesn't matter if it's 12 rounds, right? I mean, if she goes ahead and this additional minute each round does what we all hope it does, then we're not going to get to a 12 round. And this is very significant for women. I mean, there was a lot of sanctioning bodies involved. It was the Florida Boxing Commission, hey, and also the ABC, because the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame, the Florida Boxing Commission usually goes along with whatever the ABC recommends or approves. So that was also something that had to happen. Plus, you have the promoters who are actually behind this as well. Everybody was in agreement except the WBC, guys. The WBC is going to wait. That belt will not be on the line, even though Serrano is undisputed. I just learned this yesterday. I was like, oh, come on.
Lucas, you're on mute, buddy.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that at all. You just now told me, so I didn't know. That really does take the wind out of my sails as far as that's concerned. But hey, I mean, we're still getting the 3-minute 12 rounds, so I'm happier with it. I think you're going to see even more exciting women's boxing that has picked up lately. This is just going to add on to it. So you're going to get more stoppages, more knockdowns, more knockouts, all of the above. Just better boxing overall. And I can only imagine what we would have gotten, Taylor Serrano, had that been 12 3-minute rounds. So I'm looking forward to it. Rob, anything to add before we move on?
I mean, the question is, were you shocked? And I'm not shocked. I was happy.
I was happily shocked. I was happily surprised. I didn't really think we were going to get there. I thought it would be a couple more years before we got this step up. The problem is it's only for this one fight, right?
Right now. But for those of you who are new, because let's face it, they got a lot of fans right now. They definitely could garner a lot more. So for those of you that are new to women's boxing, Serrano is action-packed, made for 3-minute 12-round fights. As long as she can keep it up, which any doctor will tell you, a woman can't hang in the same athletic abilities as a man is bullshit. She definitely can hang. She definitely can do it.
What you say?
Where you go with this?
Well,
I'm shocked that he said that he actually acknowledged that.
I don't think he believes that.
Yeah, like he's saying that. I'm like,
that's why the WBC is holding off, because they're claiming they want scientific medical proof, which is bullshit.
I mean, I just feel like they've had ample time to get that at this point, right?
Well, Serrano's about to prove it. And we're talking, you guys want to see knockout. I want to see it go all 12 rounds because I'm selfish. I want to see that action. They're as good as any male fight on the docket this year because they're competitive and they literally do put it all into the ring, but she can handle it.
I actually agree with you. I would like to see it go 12 rounds because then it's like Serrano would be on the record books as the first female professional fight with 12 round 3 minutes rounds. So you know what I'm saying? Like it would actually put her in the actual record books. So that's why I kind of want to see it. But then she could go the other route where she like, see, I told y'all these 12, these 3 minutes was a game changer. I'm a knockout artist. So either way, it's an amazing situation. Like I just hope for the best for that night.
Yeah,
I don't want no shenanigans.
Yeah, adding a whole extra minute on to someone who's so used to fighting only 2 minutes, and when Serrano's just kicking the crap out of you. And I mean, we're talking, I don't know about you two, but you're talking arguably the top pound for pound woman fighter in the world. And you're getting all of that with an extra minute for her to just beat the living hell out of you. It's not going to be good. I'm looking very excited for it. I cannot wait, and I really hope that it goes on from here. We eventually see Serrano-Taylor rematch, and that is also 12 3-minute rounds. Because I feel like a little great fight, amazing fight of the year, possibly fight of the decade, but I feel like a little bit of it was still robbed. Some of that essence was still robbed out of it that could have been, something even more special. But
I was reading that she had offered Taylor that option for them to try to make it a 3-minute round, 12-round fight, but that Taylor did not accept that, or Taylor's team didn't. I hate saying an actual fighter did something when a lot of times it's management and different,
what
do
they call them? So many people to go through, so much PR and all that crap.
I
exactly.
Still think...
So therefore, she doesn't necessarily know whether or not that would be the case if she does have that rematch with Taylor. The thing of it is that now I'm hearing that like it would be each female's team that decides whether or not they want the 3 minutes and whether or not they want the 12 championship rounds. I think the money would come into play because some promoters are not going. That was always the barrier, is that they knew that if they increase the minutes and they increase the rounds, then the fighters would have to be paid more.
I don't. It's that. I also think that's a part of it. I think the sanctioning bodies are a part of it because Taylor was chasing belts at that point in time. And when you're chasing the belts and you don't have the backing of the sanctioning body, they talk about stripping titles, not allowing you to win titles, stuff like that. That comes into play too.
That's fair.
Right. That's why we got to give kudos to these sanctioning bodies on this particular fight setup where they're agreeing to 12-round championship bouts.
Except for the WBC. Fuck you, WBC.
Well, they've always been known to be like on the forefront with the, brain damage and the stem cell research and things like that. So I can see why they're playing it a little safe.
They do that, and then they say, we're going to be doing all this drug testing, but in actuality, you don't do much. That it does nothing. It's a good in theory, but in actuality, you're not doing anything. Unless you're testing somebody 24/7 in boxing, you ain't doing shit. That's just my take on it. You can still cycle off, right? So he can be juicing this whole time until you have a fight coming up, and then you just cycle off.
I just know for the brain, the research with the CTE damage and stuff, they will have to have volunteer boxers, female boxers, past and present
bodies, though, right? Because studying. CTE has to be studied when you're dead. Like
no. They have testing now that they can do, and they also compare scans to see if there is damage that grows on the brain, or if if they just look for changes in your actual brain. Now, if you want to take a sample of the brain, of course, with vitalizing CTE damage, but no, they now have developed an additional formula to be able to know if you have it or not.
Right. Like I heard you can show brain damage or see brain damage, but I thought to confirm CTE, they actually had to take
exactly to be diagnosed.
Not anymore, CTE. Guys. No, not anymore. You don't have to. I mean, that is the final step in it now, but they do diagnose people prior to death now, especially with the football players. Like they have the ability to do that. Okay. It's no longer like just.
Agree.
It's no longer that. But this is.
I agree, Ralphie. I agree. Looking forward to it, Ralphie.
What did Ralphie say? I can't see. I don't got my glasses on.
More knockouts will happen when you add more minutes and 12 rounds for the females.
Yes. I mean, that's the main point of all of this, is that we're looking for that action. We want to see that finality of the brutality.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and then that is the finality of the brutality. Okay, I just made up something.
Yeah.
I better go trademark it real quick.
Yeah.
Yes, but guys, just go ahead and tell me: do you see this as like something that other female boxers are definitely going to take a hold of right away, or do you
Clarissa.
think that they're not going to be able to influence these sanctioning bodies and different organizations until they have as big a name as Serrano?
This is going to separate the division, I think, by a lot. You're going to see the people who are excelling want to actually do more. You're going to see the guys who are a little bit, or the girls who are a little bit more gun shy, to want to stay at the 2 minutes. I really do think you're going to kind of separate the cream of the crop with this new ruling. That's just me.
Yeah, but I mean, but in training, they all do 3 minutes when they train.
Yeah, but fighting is still different. I know sparring, you know, it's different still.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, and I'm just saying they already can push their bodies to 3 minutes. That's all I'm saying. It's just that
for sure.
Physically they are ready for 3 minutes.
I believe it. I believe it.
Let's see who's gonna be willing to pay, because it's one thing when you Jake Paul and you got endless, dollars in your account. I want to see if these other promotional companies are going to be like, yeah, you can make this a 3 minute, and it can be this, and we'll increase your pay. Like that's how what I'm looking for. Follow the money trail.
All right. Got something for y'all tonight. Afterwards, I'm gonna address some issues. No, I'm gonna address some issues afterwards.
You're too excited about this, Rob. You are too excited, so I'm scared.
This is just a quick rapid fire. Not that I just had a few issues with some things that was said, but I'm gonna save that. But for rapid fire tonight, okay. So for you fans out there, this is just a rapid fire question. Pick your brains out. It's very fun, very easy. Not a lot of thought input to it. Just go ahead and type in the text and the message here, kind of your thoughts. But our assignment for tonight for rapid fire for Shakura and Lucas and myself. So guys, I want you to put on your promoter's hat tonight.
Oh God.
I want you to step into the role of a promoter. Choose any fighter you want, and you have to be their promoter. What is the fight you want them to take right now? Now, again, this is you being the promoter, not a fan. So I want you to think.
Say it again. My mind. I'm just saying. Say it again. Like, what's the question? I'm a promoter.
You're the promoter.
Okay.
Which fighter? You pick a fighter and choose what fight you want them to take right now.
Okay.
It would be fun. It would be more fun if I could guess what y'all's two are.
Now, again, you're the promoter, not a fan. So I want you to take the promoter's hat and think about who's out there and what fight makes the most sense and why to you as a promoter. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of time to think.
Mixing up divisions, or they have to, like, we're staying in the realism of division categories.
I mean, you're the promoter, so if you think that your fighter can move up and you want to see him move up, go ahead. Which is what I'm gonna do. I want to see, as a promoter right now, the fight I would promote is Benavidez versus Bivol. Why? Because you can't get Canelo. Let's stop chasing Canelo and beat the man that beat the man. Let's go after Bivol. We all know that the weight is not going to be an issue. You're going to be able to handle that weight class, no problem. Yeah, it's a style clash, but I'm willing to bet the house on his power over Bivov's skills. So I would match up Bivol right now, or I would match up Benavidez if I'm his promoter right now with Bivol. Let's go ahead and skip Canelo because he's a pussy anyway, and let's go after Bivol.
You love Canelo now. See how you be just switching up.
It's hard to argue against that. That's a good one, Rob. It really is. And for a minute I was toying with actually Canelo to take on Bivol at 168, because the fact that he avoided that one and wanted to go back up was a little fishy to me, because that's basically saying he can't use that excuse anymore. He can't use the excuse that, oh, I went up and went, I dared to be great. Well, what the fuck now? I'm at your weight division. He doesn't want it because he already knows that motherfucker gonna lose, all right? He's got his number.
Both of y'all have already messed up this whole dynamic. He said,
no, Lucas did.
So if we are the promoter, we only give a damn. Let me finish. If we're the promoter, we only give a damn about the fucking money.
That's true. Okay? That's true.
And we want to keep it in house.
But I didn't finish, so I was toying with that. But what I ended up going with,
Lucas messed that up.
Yeah,
no, you messed it up too, because you said everything except for the real reason why a promoter would want a Benavidez versus.
I told you why.
No, because that's not a real reason. A promoter would want it, though.
Yeah,
a promoter doesn't give a damn about none of that.
Thank you, Sherman. Sherman said I had a good call. You know why he said I had a good call? Because as a promoter, we're not
thinking about the promoter's aspect.
We're not getting Canelo. Canelo won't take the fight.
Yeah, so but you really think that the best money fight that you can make for Benavidez would then be Bivol?
It'll be the best for his career.
I think it would be better. I think it would be better Biev.
No.
I got a better one anyway. I never got to finish what I was saying. Okay?
I'm sorry, Lucas. I'm sorry.
So I toyed with that because Canelo needs that, right, to kind of mend things. But I was like, nah, that fight's not worth that much anyway. So who's on the up and coming and who's coming down, right? Canelo, in my book, he's coming down. Who's coming up? Tank. Tank's going to be that new face of boxing if he keeps doing what he's doing, right? So right now, I would get him in there with a Devin Haney. I would make that fight happen, whatever I had to do. Get that fight happening, because as soon as he knocks out Devin Haney, he's going to come undisputed, become that even more of a household name. Yeah. I mean, we want to build that. And I think that is going to add to his legacy even more, not to mention the currency. So huge fight, super fight. And, the pay-per-view would do rather well.
That's right.
I like that.
Now that is the promoter's hat. He had it. He got the formula right.
See, I automatically wanted to go throw Canelo under the bus, but then I was like, I got to reel it back.
Yeah.
I got let me go back
that new train
to defending myself. Again, Shakura, as a promoter,
thank you, Sherman.
We're not getting Canelo. So for my answer, the best next thing or the best bet to do will be to take out the man that beat the man. You take out Bivol. I'm, as a promoter in Benavidez, have faith that he will do that. That'll lead to the Canelo sweepstakes.
Yeah, but the pay-per-view numbers, I don't know about that one. But okay. I mean, I got your reasoning. You ready to hear my matchup?
Yeah, we sure are.
Sure am.
Okay. Well, I'm putting Tyson Fury versus Jake Paul, baby, at Bridgeway for a pay-per-view bout, and it's gonna be raining dollars, baby. Raining dollars. We already got a Fury versus a Paul before. Now it's gonna be, Fury versus Paul 2. But the different, it's gonna be the brothers. They're gonna be fighting. The daddy gonna be throwing chairs. We're gonna have some MMA wrestling background in this sucker. They're gonna want to see it too. because he's already not crossing over with the MMA people right now. Tyson is got 1 million plus. He got billions followers. Shoot, you talking about serious bread? I mean, that would be that's my ultimate money fight. Okay, now if I'm a promoter and I want to push some of my signed boxers, then I have to have signed boxers fighting signed boxers in-house so that I can make the most money as possible, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. So right now I would have to make Canelo versus Benavidez. Hello. Money.
That is a lot of money.
Money.
And then, Rob, you just leave?
Okay. Now that's some mega fights. And then one quick second, Rob, I almost threw. I was like, I'm finna bring Mayweather Pac back for a 3.
I mean, that's like really all you gotta do. Yeah. Honestly, you set them up both like a little warm up, not quick knockout type of fight, right? Get the energy going, and then you put them two together again. I mean, that's probably beat their old record. They probably
it could even be exhibition. Like, who cares? Like, people are gonna watch because of them two names. I mean, just like they watched Tyson versus Jones.
And I'm not gonna lie, Tyson's another one. You can put Mike Tyson back in there. Yep. Mike Tyson versus Tyson Fury. Think about that. That dude got named after that dude. Like, you should do that.
Hey, I love that one.
Since we go,
fight for the name. Fight for the name.
I love that one.
Yeah, since we going in that direction, let's see Floyd versus Crawford. Damn it.
Might as well.
That's right. Okay, welterweight now versus welterweight.
We gonna call it the past, present, and the future. That's what we gonna call the fight card.
I love it. Oh shoot! I like that. I like that one. Past, present, future. Okay, Mayweather versus Crawford. Okay, who gonna be the
whoever wins?
Hey.
Whoever wins.
Who win? The promoter won.
Yeah, promoters is gonna bankroll that into some more crazy fights. But it's been a great show. Rob's rapid fire always is crazy. Go ahead, Rob. What were you gonna say?
So, fighters, if you out there listening, you got some good promoters right here. Give us a call now.
Hey, we're gonna have to start our own promotional company, Heavy Bag Promotions. That's coming soon. But
we didn't match up any females though. We was wrong for that.
True.
We needed to match up at least one big.
I already got that.
All you got to do is Serrano Taylor.
No.
It's easy. It's already
Clarissa
there.
Ali, baby. Let's make it happen.
That's nice.
That's right.
Clarissa Ali.
Past, present, future again.
and then to throw it in there, Lucas, for you, we're going to take Ann Wolf versus Kirkland, okay?
We're going to put that in there. Trainer versus boxer.
Trainer versus student, okay?
Oh, man. Rob's Rapid Fire is always entertaining, as is our show. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, check us out every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. I hope you have a good night.